working on volume of a triangular prism. Volume of a prism is found by multiplying the area of its base by the height of the prism. Isn't it ironic that when we did volume of a rectangular prism, I told you the equation is area times height. That allows you to do volume of anything because you can find the area of something, you can then find the volume. So who can tell me what the equation for finding area of a triangle is?
Half base times height.
A half times the base times height. Or half the base times the height. So volume is always area times height. Remember that. The area of a triangle, as Caitlin said, is half the base times the height. Okay, so Mrs. Miller, you're telling me that I'm supposed to take the height again and multiply it? No. The volume of a triangle prism is the area of its base. So the bottom part of it, what it's sitting on. Not the height. And I would refer to it as the length of the triangle. So how tall the triangle is what they're saying is the height. So how tall the prism is. And notice the difference here. I have an H and an H. The big H is the height of the prism, and the small h is the height of the base of the triangle. And they're going to label it that way. They're going to put a big H and a small h. So as long as you know that area is half the base times the small h height, and volume is area times the large h height. This could also be written in length. So I like to say this right here could be length. All right, so see if I can erase that. So here's our first example. If we have a triangular prism that is base of 8 inches, the base's height is 6 inches, and the height of the prism is 5 inches. What is going to be our first step? Anybody? What do we have to find first? Which is, what are we trying to find when we do that, Caitlin? What's the first equation we have to find the answer to? Evan? What is the first equation we have to find the answer to?
Area.
No, the first equation we have to find is area. So we have to find the area of a triangle, like Caitlin has been saying back here. But obviously Caitlin knows, so somebody else needs to chime in. So for finding the area, what two numbers are we using, Kayla? What two numbers? There's numbers right here. What two numbers are we using? We're using the 8 and the 6. Okay? So we're taking half the base. So what's half of 8?
4.
Someone besides Caitlin.
6.
Cameron, what's half the base? 4 times what, Connie?
6.
Which is what, Haley? 6 times 4.
24.
So we have 8 over 1 times 1/2, which is equal to 8 over 2, which we know is equal to 4. 4 times 6, area then is 24, right? So now we have to find this little wonderful thing, the volume. Okay? So everyone Understanding so far what we're doing? So to find the volume, we take area times height. What was our area? And our height is 5. So 24 times 5, and we get 120 inches cubed. Remember, volume is always cubed.
Cube is 3, right?
As a 3, yes. Okay. Questions? All right, here's your 3 examples. I want you to do number 1 first, and then we're going to talk about it. All right, step 1, who can tell me? So I understand the equation. I want to know what I'm doing. What numbers am I multiplying together? So we're taking 1/2 times 9 over 1. How many of you say yes? How many of you say we're taking 1/2 times 12 over 1? How many of you are like, no, neither one, Mrs. Miller? How many of you are awake today? Somebody has to have an opinion.
I think it's 18.
Okay, so Caitlin thinks it's the 18. We have 3 options then. If you think it is 1/2 times 9 over 1, raise your hand. If you think it is 1/2 times 12 over 1, raise your hand. If you think it is 1/2 times 18 over 1, raise your hand. And I still have people without a hand going up. Cameron, what do you think it is then?
Once you get the half, there isn't a half, it's just half the base.
Yeah, 1/2 1/2 times the base. So what are you saying is the base? 9, 12, or 18? Okay, so what they want, my 18ers, what they want is the base of your pyramid, or of your triangle. This right here is the base. They want the area of this. Does that make sense?
No, because all I see are 3 numbers that need much together in that one.
Okay, this is the triangle. They want the area of the triangle. Do you see that? Do you see the triangle?
See, it's going to be standing up. I looked at it wrong the first time, too.
Oh, okay, now I see it.
It's the triangle.
Well, I'm going to show you something that's going to help you on this one. But it's the area of the triangle, okay? And then you multiply it by its height, or what we would call its length, I think. But the book calls it a height, so I don't want to confuse you in that when you see it in the book. So, really kind of cool on this one is either way, if you call this your base, you come up with 4.5. If you call this your base, you come up with 6, right? Yeah. 4.5 times 12 is 54. And 6 times 9 is 54.
It doesn't really matter on that one.
Not on this one. But remember, this is your base. Because this is the height. So where the 90 degree sits is where the height is on this one. I know, a little confusing. Most of the time it's going to be labeled for you. So area then is 54. Now what do we take the area times?
Times 18.
We take 54 and multiply it by 18. And you should come up with 972 centimeters cubed. How many of you got 972 centimeters cubed?
Now I do.
Kayla, what'd you get? Neosha? Huh? Okay. Here is your next one. Let's go do this one and then we can move on. This little one right here. Base equals 1.5 feet, height equals 1 foot, and height equals 10 inches. Evan, do it.
How is that possible?
So you